can you keep up to date if you don't follow me? Let's get into this one.
A new trader will think, okay, I took a loss, but I learned a lesson. A loss is not a loss if you learn a lesson. Very common thing we hear.
A loss is not a loss if you've learned a lesson. I like that, I like that.
And I get it. It makes sense because you're still learning. But a loss for a professional trader is not like that. A loss for a professional trader is, I had these reasons for my trade. I was aware of these reasons against my trade. I made the decision to still take the trade as a calculated risk and as an educated guess, as a data-driven approach, despite the reasons against. And I know over 100 trades, 70% of the time I will be correct. 30% or 20% of the time I will be wrong.
Exactly, calculated risk. So yes, a lot of people in the trading world will associate losses as learnings. Maybe that's just psychologically give them a bit of comfort, right? So they say, oh, they're not losses, they're more learnings. No guys, it's a loss. So when you're trading and you've been trading for a long time, it is calculated risk, right? You have ticked off all the boxes. In my case, it's confirmations. You've looked at ABC, you've looked at WXY, and you've placed a trade. It's not guesswork, it's something that you have strategically placed, right? It's your calculated risk. So it's not a lesson if it's a loss. A loss is a loss. You've just taken a loss, right? A lesson is where you're in the learning phase and you're trying to figure out what works for you, what sticks, what you could have done better. That's all the learning phase. That's the earlier stages. That's the first, handful of years, right? Once you've got consistency and you're trading and you're earning from it, and then you do have experience and consistency then. So they're not lessons, they're just losses. And that's perfectly fine. Gentleman is saying you can afford to have that 20% or 30% losses because that's part of the game, and that's absolutely spot on. And so yes, I'm also in agreement. They're not, your losses aren't lessons, your losses are losses, and your lessons are through your learning phase.